Hi, and welcome back to Building a Consistent Brand. Today's lesson is building a voice and connecting with your audience. Listen, I get it. Trying to build a business on TPT can be very overwhelming. There always seems to be so much to do, but I want you to focus on what you can do and start from there. And actually, building your voice is one of the easiest and quickest ways to build your brand because your voice is really just your personality shining through. This is how your audience gets to know you and connects with you as a business. Today, we will be going over connecting with your audience and building your voice. In previous lessons, we talked about who your audience is. This is your customer base and who you think should be following you and your brand. But today, we're going to talk about how you can connect with your audience and how you will build your voice to connect with them. Let's go over this brilliant bit of info. Connecting is the ability to identify with people and relate to them in a way that increases your influence with them. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to connect with people so that your influence shines through and they want to be a part of your business. There are lots of different ways to connect with your audience, but let's start with some of the really simple, quick, easy wins. One of the first ways to connect with your audience is to solve issues promptly. And I can't stress this enough. When you get a question on TPT, you need to respond within 24 hours or quicker if possible. This is a great way to connect with your audience because they're going to see that you care and that you are really concerned about their issues. In fact, on TPT, you usually have teachers who are buying a lesson the night before or even several hours before, and they need that question answered quickly. So a good way to connect with your audience is to be prompt and to have really good customer relation skills. I also want you to use the notes to follower option on TPT. This is not a new feature on TPT, but they have updated it. Usually, you used to only be able to send the note once a month to your audience. Now you can send it once a week to everyone following you on TPT. So I'm going to show you real quick how that works. Once you get to the Teachers Pay Teachers homepage, hover over your name. On the left-hand side under Communicate, you'll see Note to Followers. Go ahead and click there. You're going to want to create a catchy subject line so people will want to click on your note. Then in the body of your email, you're going to be telling your customers about a new product line that just came out or a new product line that you're releasing soon, or maybe you're going to be talking about a sale you're having. I'm having a sale, so I'm going to tell my customers all about that. Now, I love this feature in the Notes to Followers where you can include direct links to your products and it will give you the cover inside the body. I love it. You can only include up to 4 resources though, so choose wisely. Then you can see how nicely those look in your email. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up real quick. Once my email is ready to go, I'll hit preview and send. When I feel like it's ready, I'll just click send and it will go directly to all of my followers. I have 15,101 at the moment. And that is a really easy way to connect with your followers and get direct contact with every single one of them. Another way to connect with your audience is through how you respond to feedback. Sometimes you're going to get less than ideal feedback, and it's never fun. You may want to take it personally because it's your work and you worked really hard on it, but you can't show those emotions through your feedback response. It's just not professional. So one of the best ways to get those emotions out is to write down your response on paper, how you'd really like to respond to that customer, or in the Notes app of your phone, so that when you actually type out your response, you're a little more professional. Sometimes you're going to get less than ideal feedback, and it might be true. Some of the things they say might be things you need to work on. So you can respond and say, I'm sorry this didn't meet your expectations. I really love your idea. I'm going to look into that further. Or you might not agree with how they respond in their feedback, and you might say, I would like to hear more from you. Can you please email me at? Or you might respond and say, I really appreciate your feedback. I'm sorry it didn't meet your expectations. However you choose to respond, just keep it professional because they're not going to be the only ones that read your response. Any other customer that scrolls through feedback will see how you respond, and your personality is going to shine through. And you're going to want to make sure it's professional and it looks good instead of someone who's snarky and bites back when they don't like what someone says to them. Because sometimes the critiques are necessary. That's how you're going to grow and become better. So just make sure your professional feedback always shines through. I also want you to keep your content original when you're connecting with your audience, whether it's on social media or however you connect with your audience through email. Just keep your content original because that's how they will connect to you. Show your audience an inside look on your product. One of my favorite ways to do this is on stories on Instagram because you can take them directly and live right through your product, and they can watch and listen how it's used or how it was created. Show customer appreciation with sales, giveaways, and promos. Great way to connect with your audience. Everyone loves free stuff. So if you can give things away that your audience really enjoys, whether that's your own personal products, or it's pens or gift cards or planners, whatever that is, that's always a great way to connect with your audience. Whether you want to do that once a quarter or every other month, it's up to you. Have an open mind, and remember, not everyone needs to like you. And it's okay to have an audience of people that do like you and people who decide not to follow you. Don't let that one person who unfollows you get to you, because that just means they're not one of your ideal audience members, and you only want to sell to those ideal audience members. And like we said, connect with stories your audience can relate to. When you can talk about your life and how you relate to your audience, they're really going to enjoy that. So if you're currently a teacher in the classroom, talk about how that's going. Talk about your daily ups and downs. Talk about your home life with your children. Your audience likes to connect to you and they like to know you. Think about those accounts that you follow and what makes those accounts stand out to you. What makes those accounts people you want to follow? What are they doing that you like? It's probably not an account who's showing ads all day or showing products all day. They're probably intermixing showing their product with their daily life. In fact, they're probably showing their daily business and their daily life 80% of the time and only showing products 20% of the time, and trying to soft sell it so they don't sound like they're just a commercial every day. And I want you to deliver consistency, otherwise you're going to be forgotten. So you want to be consistent with your voice and with how you relate to your audience. Now here's a brilliant bit of info. You will never influence the world by trying to be like it. So you want to stand out and be original. And to do that, one of those ways is to use your voice. And your voice is who you are as a person. It's your personality. It should come very naturally to you. People will associate with your voice and your brand. They're going to relate to you because either they find themselves in you or they find something about you that they like and they want to continue to follow. Decide what your message will be, and your mission statement is a good guide for finding your message. So decide what you're trying to convey to your customers and shine that through in your voice. How will you express your voice and what will be your tone? So how are you trying to express your personality to your audience? Are you going to be witty? Are you going to be funny? Are you going to be inspirational, educational? One of my favorite ways to do this is to think of yourself or your brand as a famous person, and who would it be? So on your paper or in your workbook, I want you to write down what famous person you think your brand represents. If I were to do this for my brand, I might say Taylor Swift, not only because I really like her, but I think she's kind and I think she's really witty and good with her lyrics. And that's something I want to share with my audience. So think of yourself as a famous person or your brand, and who can you relate to the most? Are they funny? Are they educational? Are they down to earth? And why are you choosing that person? And I want you to emulate those adjectives that describe that famous person in your own brand. Describe that person in 3 words and use those words to describe your voice. Expand on that and decide that's what your voice is going to be and keep it consistent. Your voice is how you're going to communicate your emotions to your audience. This is how they're going to know you're excited about a new product, or how you're frustrated with a particular point in education, or how you're trying to really lift up other areas in education. So your voice is how you communicate your emotion, whether that's through you actually talking on live videos or writing emails or your copy on your social media. Make sure your voice really communicates who you are as a brand and as a person. And it also gives you purpose. It's going to give you meaning when you're creating content. If you know that your voice is educational and inspirational, it's going to be easy to make that content because you know what to center it around. It also develops good recognition. People are going to say, hey, I know who that person is because she's really funny. Or I know this person because she gives great tips in the classroom. So make sure your voice really develops you, and so that people can recognize you as a brand. To establish your voice, I want you to review your mission statement and make sure your character and appearance match your voice and what you stand for. So even your appearance, what you wear, that's all part of your voice and all part of your brand. And what comes naturally to you? You might really like to follow those funny accounts. I know I do, but I can't be a comedian every day because that doesn't come naturally to me. But I can be witty and I can be inspirational. So find what's natural to you and be that. And your audience is going to know if what you're showing is natural. And you'll know because it's just who you are as a person. But you can also talk to coworkers and family members and say, hey, what do you think is a good brand voice for me? How do I relate to you as a person? In the end, your voice is one of the best tools you have in connecting with your audience. It's just your personality, so be you. You will find the tribe that wants to follow you by being who you are naturally. So let's work together and let's get our voices out there so our niches can hear the good information we have to share.